The Galactic Council had always dismissed humanity as a curiosity, a species too young and too volatile to be taken seriously. Humans were confined to their small corner of the Orion Arm, permitted limited trade but denied access to advanced weaponry. This arrangement had worked for nearly 2 centuries, until the Void Swarm came. Admiral Pax watched from the command deck of the Celestial Grace as another Allied vessel erupted into a blossom of fire and twisted metal. The swarm's living ships, part biological nightmare, part machine, consumed everything in their path. 3 Council worlds had already fallen. Casualties? Pax asked, her 4-fingered hand gripping the console. 27 capital ships lost in the last hour alone, replied Commander Teal, his skin fading from emerald to a sickly gray. The Kethic forces are in full retreat. The Jurians have lost contact with their homeworld. Pax's inner eyelids flickered, a gesture of profound distress among her people. The Galactic Council's forces, once thought invincible, were being systematically annihilated. We have no choice, she finally said, her voice barely audible. Send the signal. Teal's head crest flattened against his skull. Admiral, the Council expressly forbids. The Council will be ashes if we don't act. Send it. Now. On Earth, Director Marcus Reed sat alone in his office at the United Defense Initiative headquarters, staring at the holographic display that had just materialized above his desk. The message was brief. Galactic distress signal. Authorization. Pax Omega 776. Request immediate military assistance. Asterisk. Reed's weathered face betrayed no emotion as he opened a secure channel to the President. Madam President, we've received the call. A pause. After all this time, what's changed? Everything, apparently. The Void Swarm has broken through. Another pause. Longer this time. Activate Arsenal Protocol. Full deployment. Reed closed his eyes briefly. Yes, Madam President. Beneath the surface of Mars, deep within the hollowed-out moon of Europa, and scattered throughout the Sol system in unmarked installations, sensors detected the authorization code. Massive doors that had remained sealed for generations began to slide open. Humanity had prepared for this day, waiting patiently while the Galactic Council patronized them and restricted their growth. All the while, they'd built in secret. Admiral Pax had begun evacuation procedures when her tactical officer called out. Admiral, multiple unidentified vessels emerging from slip space. The command deck fell silent as the display showed hundreds, no, thousands of warships materializing around the battlefield. Their design was unmistakably human, but unlike any human vessels the Council had permitted. We're receiving a transmission, said Teal. A human face appeared on the main view screen, a woman with dark skin and silver-streaked hair pulled back tightly. This is Fleet Admiral Jaya Torres of the Earth Defense Force. We received your distress call and are here to render assistance. Please transmit tactical data. Pax stared in disbelief. How did you build all this without the Council knowing? Admiral Torres' expression remained neutral. We've had 200 years to prepare, Admiral Pax. The Council might have restricted our official military capacity, but they never bothered to check what we were doing in our own backyard. As tactical data streamed between the vessels, Pax's crew watched in stunned silence as the human fleet moved with precision that belied their supposed inexperience. Their ships, ranging from nimble fighters to massive dreadnoughts, deployed in formations that seemed to anticipate the swarm's movements. That the humans opened fire, weapons that defied Council understanding tore through the Void Swarm's biological armor. Quantum-locked projectiles bypassed their adaptive shielding. Gravity lances created localized singularities that crushed swarm vessels into compressed matter. They're deploying ground forces, Teal exclaimed as smaller craft launched toward the besieged Council world below. On the surface of Kelnar IV, Major Alex Reeves led his mech division through the ruins of what had once been a thriving metropolis. The Void Swarm's ground forces, chitinous horrors that moved with unnatural speed, scuttled through the debris. Vanguard formation, Reeves ordered, his voice calm despite the chaos. Hammer and anvil. 20-foot mechanized combat suits, piloted by humans who had trained their entire lives for this moment, moved into position. Their weapons systems had been designed specifically to counter the swarm's adaptive biology. For Earth and all sentient life, Reeves murmured, an old battle prayer from the early days of the Arsenal Protocol. Then he gave the order, engage. The mechs surged forward, their movements fluid and devastating. Plasma cannons roared, gravity hammers crushed, and monomolecular blades sliced through the swarm's carapaces. The aliens fought back with savage ferocity, but for the first time since their emergence, they began to retreat. Back on the Asterisk, Celestial Grace Asterisk, Admiral Pax watched as the tide of battle shifted. The human fleet had surrounded the swarm's main force, methodically dismantling their offensive capability. Admiral Torres is requesting to come aboard, Teal reported. Minutes later, the human admiral stood on the command deck. She was taller than Pax had expected, with a presence that commanded respect. Your intervention is unprecedented, Pax said carefully. The Council will have questions about your military capacity, Torres smiled thinly. The Council has kept humanity contained because they feared what we might become. Today, that fear saved your civilization. You could have revealed your capabilities at any time. Why wait until now? Humanity's history is written in blood, Admiral. We've fought ourselves nearly to extinction more than once. The Council's restrictions forced us to mature politically before we unleashed our military potential again. Torres looked out at the battle still raging. We weren't building an arsenal to challenge the Council. We were preparing for exactly this scenario. Pax's species rarely experienced humility, but she felt it now. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I thank you. Torres nodded. This is just the beginning. The swarm will regroup. We'll need to work together. She extended her hand, a human gesture Pax recognized from cultural briefings. As their hands met, Pax understood that the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had been underestimated for the last time. In their desperation, they had called, and humanity had answered with an arsenal 2 centuries in the making.